It's often said you're the last to know when it comes to hearing loss. So if you suspect you might be suffering from hearing loss, what's your next step? Audiologist Heather Bennett gives us advice.
Heather, when you buy a hearing aid, I assume there's a lot involved in it. What are some of the signs and steps that you need to take?
Well, the first step would be to get your hearing tested first by an audiologist. Hearing aids are custom fit if you get in-the-ear hearing aids, and they're also custom in the means that we adjust them based on your hearing loss. So purchasing a hearing aid over the internet or off a TV isn't recommended. So see an audiologist first to get your hearing tested, and they can recommend what hearing aid you need.
And when you come to get a hearing test, how long does that take?
Typically, we schedule an hour and a half for the appointment, which people sometimes feel seems excessive, but the actual testing typically only takes about 30 to 40 minutes. But I block off that rest of the time to go over your hearing test results with you, and then we can discuss which hearing aids you need and what your lifestyle is like and things like that.
And you mentioned just a minute ago about, seeing an audiologist. Why is that so important?
Audiologists hold either master's or doctorate degrees in audiology, and we are the licensed professionals who evaluate and treat hearing loss. So it's important to ask, what credentials a person has before going to see them.
I would assume that's important because, of course, this is your quality of life.
It is important, and you don't want somebody who's just trying to sell you hearing aids. You want someone looking for underlying medical problems and who is there for the long run to help you hear better.
Now, I've heard the saying that you're the last to know when it comes to hearing loss. Do you find that to be true?
Yes, typically hearing loss is so gradual that it seems like the person that has it is the last person to realize it, but I think in a lot of ways people begin to realize it and just push it aside and don't want to have to admit it. And on average, it usually takes people about 5 to 7 years to walk in the door after they've noticed a problem. So you're losing valuable time during that period because the longer you wait to wear hearing aids and the older you are, the longer it takes to adjust. And we're also seeing in recent studies now that dementia and hearing loss are related. So the longer you wait, you're possibly going to be having some dementia problems, and it's going to be harder to adjust to the hearing aids.
And that's a scary thought. And you're also missing out on life because some of the things that mean so much to us, the sounds of grandkids, those kind of things, those are the noises you start to lose, isn't it?
Exactly. And, you don't realize how much it's affecting your family as well. And it's actually another tip I recommend people to know what problems you're having before you come in. And that way you can tell the audiologist, this is what I would like for the hearing aid to do. I would like to hear better when I go to church, or, I'm having a hard time hearing my grandchildren. And there's a little survey that we fill out, the top 3 things that you would really like to hear better in. And we kind of, note your progress along the way to make sure that the hearing aids really are doing their job.
And once you get the hearing aids, is it all easy after that?
No. People, I think, sometimes relate it to eyeglasses, and they shouldn't. Eyeglasses, typically after a day or so, you can get pretty much adjusted to eyeglasses if it's a correct prescription. Hearing aids, it's a lot more difficult. I tell people all the time, we hear with our brains and not with our ears. And it's so much more complicated than people realize. So be willing to make that journey, realize that it's going to take effort. You're going to have to make a commitment to putting them in your ears and letting your brain get adjusted to hearing that way. And so within that we always have a 30-day trial period. Within that 30 days is plenty of time to know whether that hearing aid is going to work for you. But even that adjustment still continues after that time.
I know with my dad, he got his and he had to come back for several adjustments, but his life is so much better now.
Right. And that's what I want people to always realize, that our door is always open. All it takes is a call, and we'll schedule an appointment and we can come in and we can tweak the hearing aid some more. So no one should ever feel like that they're just pushed out the door and no follow-up appointments are scheduled. That's not the way it should be.
And once you buy something, do you need to keep track of all the specifics about the hearing aid itself? Like if you're getting glasses, you need to know exactly your vision. I would assume it's similar with hearing aids?
Correct. That's another tip, is we recommend you get it in writing. State laws actually require purchase agreements, and they require certain things to be on that purchase agreement. So once you have those hearing aids, we always make you a copy of the purchase agreement, and it includes things like the name of the hearing aid, the serial numbers, the warranty dates, that the payment, things like that, so that you have that in writing and you know what you have.
And Heather, what can advanced hearing centers offer that other hearing centers can't?
Well, I like to think that we have a really good focus on customer service. These patients, like I said, I see you a couple of times within that 30-day trial period. And even after that, we schedule routine 3-month follow-ups so that I can always keep a track on you, and seems to make the patients happier and more willing to let me know kind of what's going on with their hearing aids. As well as when you come in for the initial evaluation, I want to make sure you understand your results. And if appropriate, I also want to demo hearing aids for you so that you can kind of get an idea of what they're going to feel like and what they're going to sound like.
And Heather Bennett offers some free screenings. She's located out in Windhurst off Enterprise Drive, 434-237-2226 or 877allears.com.